Hello and welcome to this episode of VIT Today is the Next Step. Today we have with us Raina Garg, who is currently working as a software development engineer at Cisco. She also happens to be a 2020 graduate of the Vellore Institute of Technology, Vellore, in the field of information technology. During her time in VIT, Raina has accomplished great successes. She served as the lead at Women Tech Makers VIT and was also invited to Google I/O 2019, where she met Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Google. Apart from her technical skills, Raina also won Campus Princess in September 2019, which was organized by the Miss India organization. We are indeed very, very happy to have you.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So hey Raina, the very first question that we have in mind for you is, what is an ideal time for an individual who is say in their first year to start realizing their ambition to end up in some dream company like Cisco?
Okay, so the short and crisp answer to this would be somewhere around the end of second year and the beginning of third year. Um, but I personally think that when you come to college, you've already dealt with the rat race of getting into IIT or getting into a good college. So college shouldn't have to be that. So ideally for me, the first and the second year should be spent focusing on your college academics because most people don't realize this, but college academics are extremely important. And I mean, we know like in VIT, the CGPA situation and the criteria that they set for placements, it's brutal. So you have to focus on your college studies as well. So the first and the second year, focus on your college studies, maintain a good CGPA, and build your personality, build your portfolio. And from the second year end and third year beginning, you should maybe start getting a little more serious about your placement preparation, start looking for sources. If you want to take coaching, take coaching. But I think before that, if you start, it's not really going to help you that much. So yeah, focus your first and your second year on your college studies and build up a good academic portfolio. And after that, you can focus, maybe shift your focus a little bit towards your placement preparation. So that would be my advice.
Right. Like what do you think should be the ideal approach? Is it having a high aim, or should be a person should be on the lookout for good opportunities, which should be preferred?
Neither, to be honest. See, I've noticed that a lot of people, when they prepare from a very generic database of questions, Geeks for Geeks, interview, bit, lead code, code chef, hacker rank, everybody prepares from these generic database of questions and sources. And I mean, if of course you are specializing and honing your skills in a particular field, for example, I work in Cisco, so I'd say networking, or for somebody it could be graphic designing, then it makes sense to have like those companies as your supposed target. That, oh, if I'm a designer, then I would really like to work for Adobe's design team because that would be amazing. But other than that, I think the approach should be to prep smartly and prep well and be honest in your preparation and just understand that not don't just look at a company in terms of if it's a top tier company, if it's a second tier company, or if it's just a non-existent company, or how much they pay you, because that obviously is a huge criteria for us as special. Focus on the company culture. Focus on if the company has enough, if it has a conducive environment for you to grow. So that should also be the focus. So basically, do your research before you go interview for a company, and just be honest in your preparation. Trust me, you should go with a mindset to learn and not with a mindset to like earn all that you want to in the first year. So yeah.
Right. My next question would be that we know that you also interned at Cisco first before joining Cisco later on. So how can students end up with internships of such grandeur like say Cisco? And what kind of experience does one garner through such internships?
Okay, so for your first question, which is how to land an internship like at Cisco or at other good companies, Google, Microsoft. Um, like I said, prepare hard and prepare well and be honest and prepare smartly. So I'll tell you this one thing that I did. This might work for some, might not work for some. So whenever I would interview for a company like this, where I felt like, it had like a certain it was a top tier company, and I knew that they were going to ask me a certain kind of question or certain kinds of questions. I went on Geeks for Geeks and I looked up their interview experiences. So a lot of people had already shared their interview experiences, and in that they share the questions that they had been asked, and they share the kind of the experience that they had, how many rounds there were, how many technical rounds, how many HR rounds, and all of those basically specifics. So that helped me a lot. So, like if I went for an interview for Cisco, I wasn't completely thrown off by their pattern because I already knew that this is how they're going to interview me. So I think that helps a lot. And I also noticed that most companies have a trend of questions. I mean, come on, they're interviewing people over the years. They have a trend of questions that they ask. So go on Geeks for Geeks, research about the company, number one, research about the kind of questions they ask for a certain profile, because most companies also come with multiple profiles. And yeah, just prep smartly. I mean, if you're smart enough, you'll land a good internship. It's not that hard. It's people like us only go to those companies. It's not aliens with super genetics. So it's easy. Don't worry about it.
Okay, so let's consider the very worst case scenario. If somebody does not end up in, say, such a premier company for an internship, it might as well be the case in certain situations. So, what can they do to be, at par with the people who have completed such internships? Is there something that you would want to tell them, or some area that they can focus on?
Uh, Again, it's not a rat race. You've already come out of a rat race competing for good colleges. Why do you want to get into a rat race for placements again? Like I said, just go to the company with a mindset to learn. Just go there, even if you think, like, I mean, I honestly don't believe in the whole idea of one company's, like not suited to my skill set, or they're below my skill level. I don't really believe in that concept. So you go to the company, you learn, you hone your skills, and if you feel like you want to make a switch, then there are obviously options available. You can side by side interview for other companies and make the switch. A lot of freshers do that. So don't get disheartened if you did not get the company that you wanted. But again, don't narrow your views so much. Prepare well, and I'm sure, I mean, you'll get in your career where you want to, because trust me, now that I'm here and now that I've completed my internship and I'm actually working for the company, I realize that it's not so much about how much they're paying you. It's not about the kind of work I'm doing. It's about the kind of people there are and if they are going to let me grow in my career. So that's extremely important. So when you go to the company, look out for that. Look out for the career growth and the opportunities that the company has to offer you. If you think that that's a very stagnant department, you feel free to like change and switch to another company.
Right. I'd follow up that question with another question, which is very, very pertinent, according to me, to all the first timers, all the freshers, all the people who are out there. And suppose when you were in your later years in VIT, didn't you face this extremely tough phase where you had to, select between sitting for placements, aim for higher studies, and probably an MBA because that's the only option left. So, didn't you face this
Hmm.
kind of a choice? And in your case?
Okay. So for me personally, no. I was pretty clear that I wanted to work in the industry for a few years before I could go out and do masters. Mostly because I also wasn't clear if I want to really do this. And then in September 2019, Campus Princess happened. So then I obviously had to stay in the country if I want to represent India internationally on the pageant. So I am going to stay in the country for a while, and then maybe after that I'll think about masters. But yeah, I can tell you that I think this realization does not come overnight that you want to do masters. You don't suddenly wake up and think, oh, today I'm going to just prep for GRE and prep for GMAT and do my masters, or do an MBA, or do my MTech. So this realization happens over the years as you understand what you really want to do in your career. So yeah, when you start prepping for placements and then you start thinking about your future after college, this realization comes over time. Just do your research, talk to your seniors, talk to the people who actually have done what you intend to do, and that should be good.
uh, is there any particular way or something you would want to tell people who how they can find out what's best for them, if there's anything you would want to add on that?
Uh, I think again, like if you really want to go for an MBA and obviously you're looking at IIMs, then try to find somebody in the college who already has been to an IIM, or again, like just network basically. Talk to people, because there's only so much you can do on Google. It's like you can really just look up people's experiences. So it's just always better to network with people and talk to them and find out their experiences and how they ended up where they ended up. So yeah, you should just network and find out. That's it. That's your best tool.
Right. I come to my next question at this point. You have not only excelled in scholastic areas, but you have also invested a lot of time, your time, into co-scholastic areas. A prime example of which is, winning the Campus Princes in September 2019. Uh, how hard is it for one to manage both scholastic and co-scholastic areas at one point of time?
I think it's obviously extremely important. Co-curriculars are very important. But I think, as cheesy as it may sound, do not ignore your academics at all. Like, just don't ignore your academics, because trust me, you have to maintain your CGPA eventually, even if you want to venture into something else. So do not ignore your academics at all. Please maintain your CGPA, especially in VIT. VIT will keep reminding you that you have to get a good CGPA to survive in the college. So do that. And other than that, I think co-curriculars are also really important, because you can't just be a machine who codes, or a machine who, is just a scholar. You have to have something outside of that, because we all come to college to become better people. We don't come to college to land in a company to work like a machine. So the whole purpose of coming to college, according to me, is to be a better person, to grow as a person, make friends, of course, and just hone your personality. So focus on that. And VIT obviously has so many clubs and chapters, so you can try out whatever you want to. Like, I was in GDG, and I think GDG is a great chapter if you're into technical things, and if you want to try out new things. And there are so many other chapters, like there's the dance club, and then there's Toastmasters, everything. But I think one advice that I can give is that do not invest in too many things, because if you're going to invest in too many things, then you're going to end up cluttering your own headspace, and it'll eat up into your mind, and it'll also eat up into your study time. So don't do that. Just find a few things that you love and find a balance. You'll be good to go.
Right. With that, I'll come to the very last question that I have in mind for you at this point in time. So this is a very strange question, but I think it does stand. How important is it to participate in your co-curriculars to actually end up in a dream company? Does that, the co-curriculars also affect your placements to a certain extent?
Yeah, they do. Of course, they do. I mean, all the good companies that I'm sure all of you guys and all the juniors are looking at, those companies are not looking to hire machines, right? They're looking to hire people. So trust me, whoever, like, for example, let's take the example of Google, because that obviously is like, we put it at a certain standard of technical companies. So if some, like, people who make into Google are all people who are good at what they're being paid to do. Do you agree? Yeah, right. So they're all good at what they're being paid to do. They all have amazing technical skills. They're great engineers. But if on top of that, you are a great personality and you can converse well with people, then you're the package deal, and any company would want you. Because everybody in a company, like I'm working in Cisco, somebody else is working elsewhere, they're all people who can code, if that's the basic requirement of a technical company. But you also need to be able to converse with people. You need to be able to give presentations, present yourself well. So all of this gets, it's all of this, you basically work on all of this, being a part of these co-curricular activities, and just interacting with people outside of your circle. So yes, it's extremely important. And I think a whole package deal does consist of somebody who is good at their technical skills, as well as good at other things.
Thank you so much. Like, it was amazing talking to you. We learned a lot of things, and I'm sure all our viewers will be, benefited a lot when they hear this interview being aired. And like, it was amazing. Thank you so much for coming.